Welcome to Pokemon Masters Council. We're coming at you with another How to Use guide. Today, we're coming at you with a PMC hot favorite. This is one of those special hot picks. Zero. We're talking about Arboliva today.
Yeah, we got a nice grass Pokemon to cover for you for once. I feel like we've been doing a boatload of psychic-type Pokemon just because I've been picking them. But anyway, man, let's take a second to thank everyone who has been liking the videos, commenting, or subscribing to us. If you're not subscribed already, we highly recommend you subscribe. We do how to use guides like this, battle videos, and we have a bi-weekly podcast every 2 weeks that comes out on Fridays. You can watch that on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify, and we stream once in a while. So if you're not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Hit that big red button and I'm part of the Masters Council.
Arboliva's a pretty fun poke. She's basically the grass type Gardevoir. That's kind of what I coin her. She's, got that very similar silhouette. She's kind of, got the leaf and bark as like her dress. I kind of dig her. She's, got all the olives growing around her. That's her new thing. And she's got that new ability, Seed Sower, which is essentially how we get grassy terrain. So she's pretty cool aesthetically. What do you think?
Yeah, it's growing on me a little bit. I remember at first I was kind of like, whatever. But I kind of like the whole, like I see the little feet peeking out of the bottom, like the bark is a dress.
Yeah.
And yeah, very elegant looking Pokemon.
Definitely.
Pretty cool.
So in terms of competitive Zero, we got a grass normal type. Pretty interesting. We're over on Pokemon DB as usual. What does this give us in terms of our weaknesses, resistances, all that?
Well, when it comes to like the grass weaknesses and resistances, absolutely nothing changes. What we're adding here with the normal type is just a weakness to fighting and an immunity to ghosts, which is actually, an immunity to ghosts is always good because ghost is always a really strong type.
Absolutely. And on top of that, we have two pretty decent abilities. One being Harvest.
Yeah, so we've got Harvest, lets you use a berry again, which can be really useful for like if you're doing like a citrus berry build with like maybe Strength Sap or Giga Drain or something like that. Just be like super annoying and super tanky. It is a really good ability, but Justin, what we're really here for is Seed Sower.
Yeah, buddy. Seed Sower is basically our only way to get grassy terrain right now from an ability. There's no grassy surge at the moment in the game. In 9th gen, we have Seed Sower.
Yep, so Seed Sower, this is an ability that is exclusive to Arboliva. When this Pokemon is hit by an attack, whether that be physical or special, it will start grassy terrain. And that is so strong because it's a grass-type Pokemon on grassy terrain, getting a boost to its grass-type moves, and it's so slow that it always takes that hit and then starts the terrain and then can return fire with a really strong Giga Drain, Energy Ball, whatever it may be. We'll get into the moves in a second.
Yeah, and speaking about those stats, she's actually thick enough to, that's essentially her role to take the hit and then set up the terrain and then hit back, right? So we got 78 HP, which is a little bit under par for a tank, right?
Right.
We'd like to be in those 80s or 90s for sure, or, preferably even higher, up in the hundreds. But 78's okay. We can use this with a max 360. That's okay for HP. 69 physical attack, not what we're here for.
Nope.
90 Phys Def, pretty decent, pretty solid.
Yeah.
125 special attack, literally Gardevoir. And then 109 Spec D, pretty solid again. So pretty decent typing and defensive stats, and then at 39 speed, so not quite slow enough to be like a real Trick Room sweeper, but she's like right in the middle. She's faster than some of those Trick Room pokes, but slower than some of the standard tanks that are like 60-70 speed, so she's in that sort of category.
Yeah, I like how it feels like this Pokemon's stat distribution was very meticulously crafted to fit in certain spaces, like, 109, 39, 78. Like, got a lot of off numbers here, and I feel like a lot of that was pretty deliberate. But we still got a really strong base stat total of 510.
Yeah, and that 125 means, regardless of investment, her special attack has a pretty prodigious ceiling.
Yeah, and like you said, it's the same as Gardevoir. We know Gardevoir can hit pretty well. So in this Pokemon is almost always hitting with grassy terrain boosted stab moves. So Definitely a nice bulky Pokemon. We'll dive into the sets here, and we'll kind of talk about how we like to use Arboliva.
Yeah, so the first set we're going to talk about, this is a little bit more VGC, but definitely has some single potential here. You just got to switch a couple of moves, but this is like what we're going to coin the support set.
Yeah.
So essentially here, what we're going to be talking about is, spoiler alert, both these sets are going to be Seed Sower. That's all we're going to be using. I don't think Harvest is bad. I just think there are better Harvest Pokemon at the moment. So for Arboliva, for like the quote-unquote support set 0.
Yeah, so for the support set, we've got a bold nature, max HP. I think that's something you kind of always want to do with Arboliva. 156 defense and then 100 special defense. This really just rounds out your defenses, which is something that we like to do on a set like this. Like always, this is just like a guide. If your team needs more special defense, then sure, go invest more in that.
Definitely.
And vice versa. If you need more physical defense on your team, go with that physical defense. Hers is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And even uninvested, her special attack is pretty strong. So it'll always, pretty much always still be boosted by grassy terrain. So you've kind of always got that going for you. And then we've got leftovers to round out the bulkiness here. Justin, you want to talk about the moves?
Yeah, the moves in the Terra type, like you said, leftovers. Also, I do want to give a special shout out. You could definitely run Big Root or Citrus here. Just kind of the standard grass type defensive items, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your healing items. And Terra type, I personally like Fire the most. What about you?
I usually lean towards Fairy.
This one is more like specifically the support set, so again, not really going to be utilizing that offense too much. No,
definitely not. I like to lean towards Fairy because for me, Fairy is just like a really nice like
neutral,
all round neutral kind of type. Same way I feel about Water.
Yeah, for sure.
If I've got a question about what the Terra could be, I could lean on one of those Terras and usually get pretty good results without a lot of thinking.
Good shout. So in terms of the moves here, we're never going to leave home without 2 of these moves for sure, and that's Giga Drain and Strength Sap. After that, you can either do Helping Hand, Leech Seed, stuff like that's really good, Protect or Substitute or both, kind of season to taste, right? But Giga Drain and Strength Sap are really the 2 moves that are important on this set. They allow you to have incredible sustain. Strength Sap is still just as broken as it ever was. It's my favorite move. It's the best grass move.
Just cracked broken, dude.
So it cuts your attack value in half and then heals you. And then subsequently, if you hit that same poke with it again, it'll heal you for less and less and less and less. And also cut your attack less and less and less. So the more you use it on the same poke, the less it's worth. But Zero, why is it so cracked?
Because they need to adjust the numbers, dude. You could probably strength sap a Fluttermane right now and still like slurp to full.
Pretty much, yeah, like 80% of your health bar from something that's not even very strong on the physical side.
Yes, yeah. So I think the move needs some sort of adjustments. I think the only thing is like distribution right now is what keeps it off everyone's radars.
Love it. So Strength Sap is insane. It's that super check to all those big physical attackers. It literally cuts them off at the knees.
Yeah.
And then it heals you too. Giga Drain healing. Helping Hand is great in doubles. Otherwise, Leech Seed is amazing. This could be your Leech Seed substitute set for singles or doubles. I think just a really well-rounded set. Like Zero said, you could play with the EVs a little bit. I went with more of a just kind of standard right down the middle bulk, but you could definitely go one way or the other. It's just a good set. We definitely tried it out at the beginning of 9th Gen. We actually have a video of it on the channel, a grass terrain team from way back in the day. We did some showdown testing. It was a lot of fun, actually. It really did work well. There's some cool stuff you can do while, you super tanky, so you take the hit really well, you just shrug it off like nothing, and then between grassy terrain and your leftovers, and then on top of that, Giga Drain, Strength Sap, and then potentially even Leech Seed, you're basically always at full health at the end of, or at the beginning of every turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the way that this slide is written out, because these moves here on your left are basically like your VGC setup, and the moves on the right are your singles setup. So you've kind of got them written out right here for you, nice and easy to digest and look at.
In terms of the offensive potential of this Pokemon Zero, let's flip this slide over and let's check out the other set for Arboliva. Let's check out the one that you've actually been running, and we have a video you can check down below in the description featuring this Pokemon specifically on our channel. In the Master Ball tier on the Showdown Regulation C ladder.
We're playing on cart.
What did I say?
You said Showdown.
Oh.
See, yeah, just... Burp, 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 burp.
Yeah. Alright, Zero, let's flip this slide over. Let's check out the offensive potential of Arboliva. This is actually a set that we've featured on the channel, and you can go check that link down in the description where we used this set in Master Ball tier on the Switch cart on Regulation C for Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, so this is my favorite Arboliva set. We're going with a more offensive version here. And then we'll lay this out in a way where you can apply it to VGC or 3v3.
Definitely.
But for 3v3, I'll kind of speak on that specifically, and then we'll kind of flip the script here. Seed Sower, obviously, always. You can run Modest or Quiet. Quiet if you're running like a Trick Room team or something with a Hatterene. But otherwise, you can just run Modest because we're not really worried about the speed. There's just not a lot of Trick Room right now. Max HP, max beneficial special attack, super important. And then just toss that last 4 in defense because we're going to be running the Assault Vest in singles.
Yeah, buddy. We always got to bring out those Bruiser builds on the PMC. The AV Arboliva. I do like to shout out either Lefties or Citrus. Still is good on this set as well. But this is more of the offensive set, as Zero already showed up. Max special attack here with that 125. This girl slaps.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. This Pokemon always surprises me with the amount of damage it does. When it comes to Terra types, I like Fairy. That's the way that I've been leaning with my build. Fire, like Justin said, also a great shout out.
Especially when you get into the moves, this will be great for the Terra Blast. This is not just a defensive Terra. This is also an offensive Terra. So we're looking for certain damage checks. We're looking for coverage.
Yeah. So when it comes to singles, the set that I have been running personally, I've been running Giga Drain, Earth Power, Terra Blast, because Terra Blast is a special type normal move, so it gives you stab before you Terra, and then when I Terra, it's a Fairy Terra Blast. And then, really fun tech that I've been using, Mirror Coat.
Yeah, which is really good, especially with that base 109 and the Assault Vest. And because Mirror Coat is technically an attack move, it slots in perfectly with the AV, and you're still allowed to use it. It's amazing. Otherwise, you go with the stock standard, which is Dazzling Gleam, and then Terra Fire with Terra Blast that way. Those are your two options. So either go Terra Fairy with Terra Blast to get your Fairy option, and you go Mirror Coat, or you can run the Dazzling Gleam, and then go Terra Fire or Terra Fairy, and pop that off there, and you could then slot in some other stuff. But Zero, why is Terra Blast good regardless?
Well, because it's still stab even before you Terra, so gives you that nice normal special option, so you're hitting both of your stabs between Giga Drain and Terra Blast, and then Terra Blast is still stab after you Terra. So just a really, really nice tech to go along with that Mirror Coat. Mirror Coat, for those who don't know, it is basically for any damage you take on this special side. So if something hits your special defense, you click Mirror Coat, you return that damage, but you double it. And it's based on a number. So that's why we're going max HP, because it's based on how much hit points you just lost.
Exactly.
You will
the more
return
hit points
fire.
you have to lose, the higher potential.
Absolutely. So that's kind of the thing we're going with here. That's why we're not running some sort of special set. We need all of those HP numbers here, and I think this is a Pokemon that's bulking up on both sides. You just go with the HP, keep it simple and easy.
Yeah, all in all, Arboliva's really good at being that bruiser and or tank. She's really good at soaking up hits. She's good at soaking damage and either healing it off or then straight up killing you or dealing a lot of damage back in the counter punch at the bottom of the turn. That's her strength, regardless of the set. So, we're going to try and look at some stats real quick, as usual. We're going to be over on Pikalytics. We're going to be looking at her on the singles chart. VGC, she's not really used too much. She doesn't fill a crazy niche. She's way more prevalent in singles. VGC, she's not even in the top 100. So we're not really going to bother too much. But what we are going to talk about is her singles potential here on Pikalytics. So she is in the top 48. She's in the top 50 because she is pretty legit. She is, I think, in the top 2 or 3, premier sub-seeders in the meta right now. And as we see right here, Dazzling Gleam, number 1, then Earth Power, Giga Drain, Strength Sap, Terra Blast, Leech Seed, Mirror Coat, all those good things that you boys have been shouting out the whole video. Look at these teammates, Zero. Harpooya the Dragonite, number 1. I think that's partially because he's just really good on most teams anyways. When we're looking at the Terras, Terra Fire being that number 1 slot, we love to see it. Really, really strong option for grass types in general to just flip the coin there. We've talked about it before on the channel in terms of the 3 starter typings are incredibly prevalent Terra types in Gen 9. And look at that, Assault Vest, Leftovers, Citrus, those goodies all over there. 89% Seed Sower, 65% Modest, otherwise it's going bold. You boys throwing it out on the PMC. We're going to close this one out, Zero. Talk about her potential. Talk about what we like. This is, like we said at the top of the show, a PMC hot pick. This is one of those PMC spicy hot picks. This is why you subscribe to the channel. This is the reason that you come here, is for these special pick. We did all the 4 Treasures of the Rune. We appreciate all the support. Smashing those like buttons and subscribing off of those, but now we're going to deep dive now, have a little bit of fun and sprinkle in some of these special PMC flavor picks, like Arboliva.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this is what a good Pokemon to kind of kick this off with, because this Pokemon, like you said, it's a hot pick. I think there is play for this Pokemon in VGC.
I think so too.
You kind of just have to spend a Terra on it, unfortunately, because HowToUse is so popular. You'll just get overheated off the face of the planet.
Yeah, and not to mention Chien-Pao too. So she's weak to 2 of the 4. You definitely have to Terra and make her the feature. But stay tuned, because maybe on a channel near you in the near future. Zero, you ready to get out of here and go play some singles?
Yep, let's do it, man.
Until next time, I've been Gym Leader Justin.
And I'm Zero.
Council's adjourned.